You've probably noticed this. Some days your thinking feels less clear. Not chaotic, just slightly distorted. You can still reason. You can still explain things. You can still function. But decisions feel different. They feel heavier, less precise, less grounded. Most people assume bad decisions come from poor logic, or missing information, or emotional weakness. That explanation feels reasonable. But very often it's wrong. The real issue is not what you know. It's the state in which you're evaluating what you know. Mental fatigue doesn't remove intelligence. It changes how information is processed. And that's why it's hard to detect. When you're mentally tired, you don't feel confused. You feel normal, good enough. But clarity has already dropped. This is why capable people make decisions that surprise them later. Why they agree too quickly. Why they delay important choices. Why they settle for options that feel comfortable, not accurate. Not because they don't understand the situation, but because their mental state is subtly altering how the situation is framed. When the mind is rested, it holds context. It compares alternatives. It tolerates uncertainty. When the mind is fatigued, it compresses reality. It simplifies the picture. Not consciously, automatically. Instead of asking what is most accurate, the brain asks, what is easiest to resolve right now? This shift happens quietly. There is no internal alarm. Ambiguity starts to feel irritating. Complexity feels unnecessary. Long-term consequences feel abstract. So the mind narrows the frame. It prefers familiar explanations, predictable outcomes, quick closure. This is not irrational behavior. It's the brain conserving cognitive resources. The problem is not the mechanism. The problem is when we trust conclusions formed in that state. There is a common belief that intelligence protects against this. It doesn't. In many cases, it does the opposite. Highly analytical minds process more variables. They build more internal models. They simulate more possibilities. That requires energy, which means mental fatigue can distort clarity faster, not slower. When clarity drops, intelligent people don't stop reasoning. They reason inside a narrower frame. And because the reasoning still sounds coherent, the distortion is hard to notice. This is why insight alone doesn't fix the problem. Understanding how fatigue works does not restore clarity. Only conditions do. Most people focus on what decision they should make. A more useful question is, in what mental state is this decision being made? Clarity is state-dependent. The same information processed in different states leads to different conclusions. Yet most decisions are made based on urgency, not clarity. Late in the day, after prolonged mental load, under subtle cognitive pressure. When regret appears later, it's often blamed on poor judgment. But the judgment mechanism didn't fail. The conditions did. Instead of managing time, manage clarity conditions. Some decisions require wide context and low noise. Others don't. High-impact decisions benefit from mental spaciousness. Low-impact decisions can tolerate compression. This means delaying decisions is sometimes not avoidance, but epistemic care, not procrastination. Precision. You don't decide when clarity is compromised. You wait until the mind can see the full picture again. This single adjustment prevents more errors than any checklist or productivity technique. And when clarity is temporarily unavailable, many people rely on external structures, not to replace thinking, but to stabilize it. Structured decision prompts slow the process down. They expand the frame. They make hidden assumptions visible again. If you care about understanding rather than reacting, clarity rather than speed, conditions matter more than effort. You don't need to think harder. You need to think under the right conditions.